Okay guys, this is a short video reviewing expressions and slope. So here's some examples of expressions. First of all, an expression, it has numbers, variables, and at least one operation. It does not contain an equal sign. That's the one thing that should jump out at you. So let's look at some examples where x is 2 and y is -1. So the directions would be to substitute and solve. So what we're going to do, the first one, we have -3x times, let me try that again. -3x plus y. The first thing we're going to do is take out the x and plug in 2 because that's what we have here. So -3 times 2, take out the y and plug in -1. Be really careful how you plug that in. That plus sign is still there. The y becomes -1. So I'm going to simplify, first of all, by multiplying. -3 times 2 is -6. Adding a negative is the same as subtracting. So when I subtract -6 minus 1, keep, change, flip, -6 plus -1 gives me -7, which is my answer. Looking at my next example, I have y squared minus 4. Y is -1. Be very careful with exponents. So when I plug this in, I have -1 squared minus 4. -1 times -1 is +1, minus 4, which gives me -3 as my answer. So again, look what I did. I substituted first. I followed my order of operations by doing exponents first and subtracting last. My next example, let's go this way to give a little bit more room. So again, y is -1. So the first thing I'm going to do is substitute. 2 times -1 plus 4 divided by 2. So before I can simplify, I need, do what's on the top first and then divide by 2 last. So on the top, 2 times -1 gives me -2 plus 4 divided by 2. I can't divide yet. I have to simplify the top. -2 plus 4 gives me 2 over 2. And 2 divided by 2 gives me 1. My last example, I have x and y in here. So remember, x is 2, y is -1. So I'm going to plug that in. Y is -1, x is 2. So my first step is always to substitute. In this case, order of operations tells me to do what's in the parentheses first. And 2 plus 5 gives me 7. And I'm going to multiply last. 7 times -1 gives me -7. So again, with expressions, we're going to substitute and then follow order of operations to simplify. The next thing I'd like to talk about is slope. So this is slope-intercept formula. Notice that the M is slope. That's how steep the line is. B is the y-intercept, which means where it crosses the y-axis. Right now, I want you to concentrate on finding the slope when you're given an equation. So the first example here, we have y equals -1/2 x plus 4. We're looking for slope. -1/2 is the slope of this equation. You have to find out where it is and just identify it. So in this case, the slope is -1/2. This is our M right here. The next problem, look at our format. It's M times x. Well, what's being multiplied by x? You want to think about this problem so that it matches more of what we're used to looking for. These mean the same thing. X divided by 5 and 1/5 x mean the same thing. So when you look at this problem, the slope is 1/5. The next one, again, we're looking for the slope, the letter or the number that's being multiplied by x, and in this case, it's 3. So the slope is 3. This one, my M is right here. The number that's being multiplied by x is 3/5. So the slope is 3/5. So again, you're looking for what the M is, or the slope, when it's in the y equals mx plus b formula. To find slope when you're given 2 points, we follow this formula. Remember, M means slope. Change in y over change in x, or y2 minus y1 over x2 minus x1. So the 2 points that are given to you is x1, y1, and we can label the other one x2, y2. So when you do these problems, your first step, you want to identify this is x1, y1, this is x2, y2. When we plug this in, we're going to use this formula. So y2 is 5, minus y1 is 3, all over x2 is 1, minus x1 is -1. Be very careful with signs. 5 minus 3 gives me 2. Keep, change, flip. 1 plus 1 gives me 2, so this slope is +1. I have another example here for you. I'm going to again label x1, y1, x2, y2, and use this formula. So on top I have y2, which is -3, minus y1, which is 8. On the bottom, x2 is 7, minus x1, which is 3. Be really careful to label these because it's very easy to make a mistake putting something in the wrong spot. So on top, I'm going to do keep, change, flip. -3 plus -8 gives me -11. On the bottom, 7 minus 3 gives me 4. This one cannot be simplified and we don't want decimals. So this, since it can't be simplified, our slope is just -11/4. So again, labeling your formula, labeling your numbers, x1, y1, x2, y2, and then plugging it in and simplifying. Be very careful with negatives for this.